Let's talk about how to hit lob wedge and sand wedge crispy from 50. Okay, Blake, so here we've got a 50-yard shot. I think it's more like 40 yards to that back pin. I want to walk everybody through how we would go about hitting this shot. First thing is you have to decide, do you want to fly it over there and throw some spin on it?
Yep.
Or do you want to fly it in a little lower and let it bounce once or twice and check?
Yeah, that's dependent on the greens and where the pin's at, right?
Yeah.
So you're out on a golf course, if you have a front pin, more times than not, you need to go for the one that kind of flies and spins.
Yep.
Gets pretty close to the pin and spins. If it's in the back, more than likely, I'm probably going for the lower shot that's going to skip back in there.
And so if
speaking.
In this scenario, we've got the whole green to play with.
Yep.
So I'm actually going to take my sand wedge for right now. I'll hit some with my 60 in a minute. But I'm going to take my sand wedge. I like to feel a nice wide arc, like
Yep.
we've talked about in short game. I don't want to get too narrow because I don't really want to have a steep angle of approach into this ball. I want to be able to hit it 50 yards, take no divot.
Yep.
So I'm going to feel a nice wide arc that's controlled by my pivot. I generally don't like to play the ball very far back in my stance.
I don't either.
So I would probably play this ball fairly narrow stance off my left heel. And then I'm just feeling out how big a swing to make. For me, it feels like that's probably about big enough. If I just take the club back where it's just short of left arm parallel, that should send that ball over there plenty. So let's try one. That's a little too far. I hit the stick and it stopped right next to it though, so that worked.
In case you hit it too hard. That's my method too.
So let's see you hit one there, Blake.
I do this, I do pretty much the same thing. The only thing I would add to it is from 50 yards, I'm still not trying to really use much hinge in my motion.
Yeah.
Because this isn't a shot where I'm looking for power or speed, right? So when I think about this, it's essentially just a big chip shot for me, especially when I'm going down and loft to a sand wedge. Then it really just feels like a big pitch shot driven by my pivot. And the only difference between that and a full swing is I'm just not adding any hinge in the motion because I don't need it.
So with is this a sand wedge?
Yep, this is a sand wedge.
So with sand wedge, you're probably only trying to land it just over the ridge here.
Yeah,
or right on top of it.
I was going to say right on top of the ridge with this club. With the trajectory it's going to come out. Right on top of the ridge.
No spin on these range balls.
No. With my sand wedge, that's about the trajectory I would expect it to come out. And you know, it's just the important thing is dialing in that pivot-driven motion to where you make good, consistent contact. Because a lot of guys, you know, it's funny. There's this misnomer that having a 50-yard shot's harder than 100. But if you look at the tour statistically, people hit it way closer. From the closer you get to the hole, the closer you hit the golf ball. Some of it is your expectations change as you get to 40, 50 yards. And you hit it to 15 feet, you might think you didn't hit as good of a shot as you really did, whereas from 100 you'd be thrilled at 15.
And there are times on tour where a pin could be located in a place you couldn't get to it from 50 yards,
Absolutely.
So you want to leave yourself that 100-yard shot.
So there's always a course management component to
But
that.
to a pin like this that's just sitting out in the open, you're definitely going to get it closer from 50 than from 100.
I want to be as close as I can.
Though you hit a bad shot right there to 12 feet.
Yeah.
That would be a really good shot from 100 yards.
So I think the important thing is, as you're, it's always about evaluating the shot and trying to decide if you want to go down to a sand wedge to lower the trajectory. Like Milo said, I don't really like to play the ball way back in my stance either. I'd rather just lower the loft.
So when you hit your sand wedge, you don't really like to play it back?
I don't. No, that's why I lower the loft.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one. Oh, except for it got a terrible bounce.
Man, it's the overseeded greens. I lower the loft so that I don't really have to play with ball position on this because I'm using all pivot. And a lot of times when I put the ball back, it seems as though sometimes it traps on the face and spins, and other times it doesn't, so I don't seem to get quite as consistent of a reaction.
Yeah, I like to make sure I have a nice shallow angle of approach into the golf ball. I don't want to be having this acute angle of attack. It makes my contact a little bit squirrely.
So the question is, other than changing loft, do you do anything different? If, let's say you have a front pin and you need to hit something higher with some spin, what do you change to hit that shot?
So if I need to hit it higher with some spin, first thing I change is the golf club.
Yep.
Next thing I change is the size of my golf swing. So if I have to go high, the swing is going to be bigger and smoother with a more follow through. And that's going to produce a higher trajectory. So it's going to be more of that kind of a look to the swing versus short one.
Yep. I remember when I was in college, Howard Twitty, who many of you probably know, was out and we were working on wedges together, and that was one of the things he told me that I thought was so neat. because when you're trying to hit that high soft wedge shot, even if your swing's, you know, maybe halfway back, a really easy way to hit that shot is to still just kind of feel like you come up full and smooth. That's a really easy way to hit that high soft shot. It keeps your arms soft throughout the entire motion.
You want those nice soft arms with very little acceleration. You want to feel like it's just.
Yep, that's the big thing, is soft, and just kind of feeling like your arms are just being pulled around by your body for that high soft one.
Okay, so let's have a little close to the whole contest with the high one. So I'll go first. See if we can hit a nice high floater, however far that is. A little tough with it downwind.
You got some super height on that.
I landed it in the shadow next to the flag, but a little too far.
The moon ball though.
Yeah, I hit it high. Soft. Oh, I think yours is going to release enough. I don't know who won there.
I did.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So Blake, let's take a look at this from face on so everybody can see the difference between the high and the low.
Sure.
What do you want to do first? You want to hit the low first or the high first?
I'll go for the low first.
Okay, so show me a low one first.
So what you'll see is the motion is still very similar. What changes is the tempo and length of swing.
Okay.
Right, so I'm still trying to maintain a nice wide radius, but you'll see the tempo change a little bit, and you'll also see just the follow through is going to look a lot shorter because of the speed of the swing.
So there's a low one. Worked out pretty good.
Worked out very good. So now you'll also see that I took a little divot there with that shorter, faster motion. You probably won't see a divot with the high, soft motion because it's going to shallow me out just a little bit more with that length of swing.
Yep, no divot. Nice and high and floaty. Ooh, that's a tasty one. You got it in there inside of 2 feet. So we hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, come visit us at milolinesgolf.com. And if you're looking for short game help, I recommend you look up this guy. You can find him on my website. Blake's an awesome short game coach, one of the best I know.
Thanks for watching.